Okay, right now I'm going to review how we're going to find the vertex from a quadratic in standard form. Okay, in standard form, just to remind you guys, is y equals ax squared plus bx plus c. So if we're given an equation in standard form, we should be able to write the x coordinate of the vertex as negative b over 2a, okay? And we know a vertex of a parabola is either the maximum or minimum. So here's just an example. So if this is the vertex, this is the x vertex, and to find the y vertex, we plug x into the y function. Comma. Okay, so let's work through an example. Say we are given an equation that's asking us to find the vertex of f of x equals 3x squared plus 2x plus 1. So we could put it in vertex form, but that a value right here makes it a little bit trickier. So that's why we're going to use this. Okay, so step one is going to be find the x value using x equals negative b over 2a. So step one, find x vertex. Okay, which we know is going to be, if we have an a of 3, a b of 2, and a c of 1, it's going to be negative b over 2a, which is negative 2 over 6. We can simplify that further by dividing by 3 to get negative 1 over 3. So now that we know the x vertex, we can go ahead and do step number 2, which is to plug the x vertex into the function to find the output. Okay, so that's the second step. Okay, so here we have f of negative 1/3 equals, right? Negative 1/3 is the input into the f function, so it's going to be 3 negative 1/3 squared plus 2 negative 1/3 plus 1. Remember, we're looking at the original and plugging in our input into the function. So if we remember PEMDAS, we should do exponents first. So this becomes 3 times negative 1 squared is 1. 3 squared is 9. So we're going to simplify this. 2 times negative 1 is negative 2 thirds plus 1. Okay, we know 3 goes into 9 3 times. So this simplifies to 1/3 minus 2/3. And we're just going to change 1 to be 3 over 3, because that way we can combine the fractions because they have a common denominator. So we get 1 minus 2 plus 3, so 1/3 minus 2/3 plus 3/3 is going to be 2/3. So we know f of negative 1/3, or in other words, that's the same thing as the y vertex, is going to be 2/3. So finally, our answer is the x values at negative 1/3, and the y values at 2/3. Okay, so let's go ahead and work through another example. So let's do example number 2. Let's say you're asked to find the vertex of h of x equals negative 5x squared plus 3x minus 8. Our first step is to find the x vertex. So we're going to use our handy little equation, negative b over 2a. And that is going to give us, with an a of negative 5, a b of 3, and a c of negative 8, we got negative 3 over 2 times negative 5, which is going to give us negative 3 over 10. So cool, we have the x value of the vertex. The second step is to get the y vertex, which is just going to be the same thing as if we plug in negative 3/10 into that h function. Okay, so let's go ahead and do that. So h of negative 3/10 equals negative 5, negative 3/10 squared, plus 3, negative 3/10 minus 8. Remember exponents first, so negative 3 times negative 3 is 9. 10 times 10 is 100. And we multiply that by negative 5. 3 times negative 3 is negative 9 over 10 minus 8. We know 5 goes into 100 20 times. So this leaves us with negative 9 over 20. Because we want a common denominator, we're going to multiply the top and bottom by 2 to get negative 18 over 20. And multiply this by 20 over 20 to get minus 160 over 20. And once you add that all up, negative 9 minus 18 is negative 27. Negative 27 minus 60 is 187 over 20. So that is your y vertex. So our final answer, the vertex for example number 2, is at negative 3 comma 10, negative 187 over 20. And yes, I want to keep your answers in fractions because we are going to be working with fractions for the rest of high school math, and I want you to be good at it. Okay, thank you. Let me know if you have any questions.